Oh, let's get into Way Too Sexy, because like when I heard the song, I was like, this is the worst song on the album. It's terrible. It like the video is hilarious, but the actual song itself is just it's terrible. It's unnecessary. I just thought why. Like that was my first thought. Is like when I heard the original sample come in, I was like, he's not. He's not about to do this. And then he proceeds to do it, which is just like I just don't understand. But also when I was listening to the song, I was like, Sledgy's gonna like this song. Like, I was like, as much as I hate it, I know we gonna get to this review and Sledgy's gonna be like, yeah, I thought it was all right, or it's gonna be like his favorite song. So I was just like, at least I knew that. At least I knew I could get some entertainment value out of it. But no, it's the worst song on the album for me. But I mean,
let me put you on game.
All right, let's talk Certified Lover Boy by our guy Drake. Drake is an artist that needs absolutely no introduction. He is definitely the biggest rapper in the world and one of the biggest artists in the world in terms of his popularity and his ability to sell records. But he's been in the news for a lot of different reasons we'll get into. But first, we're going to talk about the main reason that he is the topic of conversation right now, and that is his new release, Certified Lover Boy. And let's get into our review. Let's talk about the album itself. Let's talk about whether we like it or whether we don't like it. I'll let you go first. What are your impressions of Certified Lover Boy and your overall thoughts?
So my overall thoughts is that the album had bright spots. It had some memorable moments, some controversies, and some straight up duds. I think Drake is like making, he's making the kind of music that he enjoys to make at this point, because that's the only reason I can see somebody making the same music like he's making over the last 12 years, over and over and over again. But it also doesn't mean that he's a great artist as popular as he is. And sometimes I think his direction can be a little bit cringeworthy, and we'll kind of get into that for this project. His direction can kind of be bland and predictable, and his style is so formulaic at this point that I don't feel like he's really trying at times. His last 3 albums have had very similar beats and production styles and cadences, and just it's getting to a point where his style is just so saturated from himself. But he's also a hit machine, and he continues to churn them out like nothing, like no one else I've ever seen before. And he creates a lot of pretty cool music that doesn't have the most staying power, but it's really popular and prolific in the zeitgeist. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel overall. It's a solid project, but it's not a great project.
Right. I feel you.
So yeah, that's what I thought on it. How about you, Jay?
I thought it's the second album in a row that we reviewed that could have been a lot shorter. That definitely would have been a lot better if it was a lot shorter. Because I know we live in an age now where most people don't necessarily listen to albums after the first time. They'll just listen to an album and take what they want from it and then kind of leave the rest. But I don't know, like maybe I'm old school. I kind of like to have albums that are front to back. Like there's not really much fluff on it. There's not really many throwaways. But with Donda and with Certified Lover Boy, I think that they're both albums that could have benefited from actually leaving things on the cutting room floor. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's them trying to play with the streaming numbers or them trying to just put as much music out there as possible or whatever the motivations are. But there's this could have been a really, really good 45-minute album. But it's stretched out to almost an hour and a half, and it's just really unnecessary. Like you said, there's a lot of really great moments on here, but there's also a lot of moments that probably could have been left off. But let's get into it.
Yeah.
What were your you want to go get into the tracks and
yeah, we might as well. Yeah, that seems to be the formula.
Man, these last couple albums have been like homework, man. Think about it, bro. It's literally what, 3 hours between 2 albums the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, 3 1/4. It's a lot. But that's what we do. We love it. We love to give these people our thoughts and let them know whether or not they should listen.
I also love albums that get in and out, man. Like give me 12 to 14 songs and that's it. Like these 27 song albums in Kanye's case are just, they're crazy. But let's get into it, man. Let's talk about the actual track by track. I think this album, the first 2 songs for me are good. I like Champagne Poetry. I really love the soul sample. Drake's flow on this is great. Poppy's Home is cool, despite the cringeworthy dad Coca-Cola, Pepsi bar. but it's another great sample. I really love the drums on there. Freudian slip. But,
Yeah.
yeah, and then it kind of suffers from the same thing that Kanye's album suffers from, where you launch into all of these songs that I don't think really work. Like Girls Want Girls is it's trash, man. And then the lesbian hook, like I think Lil Baby comes in and like he's had a run of really good features and he tries to save it. I think his part of that song is good, but the hook and Drake's verses just really don't work. Uh, in the Bible, I love Giveon on there. I thought Lil Durk's verse was cool, but the song overall is also lackluster. Love All is that's kind of a waste of a J feature. I feel like overall, but I feel like I don't want to be too down on the beginning at least. Well, what are some of your thoughts about the early part of the album?
I enjoyed Drake's flow on Champagne Poetry, but I thought that his verses lacked a certain amount of charisma and energy, and I really didn't understand. It's like you're just delivering the verses in a very deadpan style, and I'm okay with that, but it didn't feel like it was intentional. It just felt like it was just lacking energy. It felt like he had COVID and he was just trying to get through it because he wasn't feeling good or something. And then Poppy's Home, I actually enjoyed. It was fun. I love Nicki's little snippet in the middle of the song, talking about, now these people are gonna have to pay me to support them because they're my children. I thought that was really funny. It was short and sweet, which I liked. And then it just takes a left turn. I'm like, the first time I heard Girls Want Girls, I was playing ball and I had to stop for a second. I'm like, did he really just say that? I was like, yo, bro, what?
Yeah, some of the hooks on this album they're not great. I can't even lie to you, they're not great.
And this song is exemplary of this thing that I told you a couple weeks back off the pod, that Drake is more of a meme than he is an artist. He is just trying to cash in on moments. And this is a moment that I think he could have left it off the album easily, you know?
The album cover alone is a meme.
It is. It's all a meme, top to bottom. And so I think Lil Baby was dragged into this song, unfortunately. And he tries, but yeah, definitely cringe. In the Bible, again, it was cool performances by Lil Durk. His verse was solid, but he did that same thing that Baby Keem did that I was criticizing, in the last review, where his last couple bars were placed with hums and ad-libs. And I'm just not a fan of that. It annoys me. Just finish the verse. Give me another couple bars. You know, like humming stuff on the second part of the chorus or something. Like, I want to hear you rap. But yeah, Giveon did a solid performance, but yeah, the song was overall lackluster. And Love All, I wasn't gonna say that, but I kind of agree. Like it was a waste of a Jay feature. Jay was, interestingly alluded to some, dark moments in his past. And they were both just speaking on the negatives of fame and the challenges of those trying to leech off of them. But it's really weird to criticize people reaching out to you for verses and to appear on their songs when you reached out to Jay to appear on this song. That conceptually just didn't make sense to me. And so and then it at least the songs kind of take a turn for the better, and I start to have fun with the album, from the next two songs. Fair Trade and Sexy. For me, Fair Trade was cool. You have Charlotte Day Wilson, a sample from her that I felt like did her justice, at least towards the end. I wish that they featured her a little bit more heavily and they didn't distort her voice, because she has such an amazing singing voice. And it did so much, manipulation of it that it really didn't stand out until the very end. And for those who don't know who Charlotte Day Wilson is, take a listen. She is an incredible R&B artist from Canada. And Travis was cool, he did his thing. It had a dark Travis Scott style beat. It wasn't Sicko Mode Part 2, and it wasn't even close to that, but it was still kind of fun, and I enjoyed a little bit of what he was doing. So I want to hear your thoughts on Fair Trade before we get to Way Too Sexy.
I thought it was okay. I mean, I don't have anything unique to say about it. I thought it was okay. I like the original song that it's sampling, but it's one of those songs that kind of fades into the background for me. It doesn't really do it. When I say they wasted a Jay verse, I thought that Jay's verse was good. I just thought the song overall was lackluster. But I mean, I already let's get into Way Too Sexy, because like when I heard the song, I was like, this is the worst song on the album. It's terrible. The video is hilarious, but the actual song itself is it's terrible. It's unnecessary. I just thought, why? Like that was my first thought. It's like when I heard the original sample come in, I was like, he's not. He's not about to do this. And then he proceeds to do it, which is just like, I just don't understand. But also when I was listening to the song, I was like, Sudgy's don't like this song. I was like, as much as I hate it, I know we gonna get to this review and somebody's gonna be like, yeah, I thought it was all right, or it's gonna be like his favorite song. So I was just like, At least I knew that. At least I knew I could get some entertainment value out of it. But no, it's the worst song on the album for me. But I mean, go ahead and tell me why you like it for whatever reason.
Bro, this song is ignorant and I love it. It's so ignorant. It's a perfect gym song. The beat it's solid enough that it maintains the entertainment value. Future was a lot of fun on the track. Young Thug, kind of did his thing on the back end. It's not my favorite Young Thug feature, but it was enough. And I just like the video was hilarious. Kawhi Leonard being lost there was one of the best moments of this year. And again, another memeable moment. And he knew that he couldn't leave this song off the track listing. And when I think about Drake, I think listening to this song, this is the most Drake song that could possibly come out. It's not a great song, technically speaking, but it's a fun song. And sometimes I just want to have fun. It's still summer. I'm still trying to, enjoy the remainder of my summer, and listening to Way Too Sexy and feeling myself, feel a little confidence as a guy. It's endearing in a way. You know what I mean?
Sure, man. I mean, this song and the one after it, like, I just thought I had to Wikipedia Drake because I was like, how old is he, man? And I looked and I was like, he's 34. Like, you don't need to be making Way Too Sexy at 34, man. Like, and then TSU, bro. Like, I just like like I'm struggling to get into exactly how much is going on in this song. Like, he's 34, and then the whole, like, he's talking about this girl who could have been any of the girls that he's talked about over the last 12 years, because he's made this song, I feel like, a bunch of different times. And then also the whole transactional relationship between him and this woman or girl, however old she is, talking about how he's basically trading like sex for helping her start a business, and how her mom ain't around and her dad ain't around, and just thinking about the age gap. Like, it's a really weird, unnecessary song. Like, it doesn't sit well with me. And it's one of, like, between this and Way Too Sexy, it's like one of my low points on the album. Like, I just don't understand why the song exists. But I guess for me moving forward, did you have any thoughts on the song as I trash it relentlessly? Because I promise the album gets better for me. I promise I'm not just hating on Drake for everybody who's listening. But like, this album started good with the first two songs, and it gets into this lull where, like, I don't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs in a row, but it picks up. Yeah, but what are your thoughts?
I kind of echo those same sentiments with TSU. I was like, bro, what are you talking about here? At first, it was like background noise when I first listened to it, and then I saw the lyrics. I'm like, dog, you got to find other stories to tell, man. Like, these snippets of your life that you're letting us into as an artist is not showing you in the best light, bro. Like, I almost want to hear gangbanging more than I want to hear you talk about girls who are basically just trying to figure it out and are using sex in their body to make it ahead in life. It's a real story, and it's a real depiction that deserves, somebody acknowledging it. But when it comes from you, you're just talking about kind of benefiting and taking advantage of the situation. And I'm not enjoying it. It's cringe,
Yeah.
Then we get into Deep, which I actually enjoyed the guitar and the beat for the song. His singing performance was like lackluster. And I'm not convinced of the staying power of the song, but the beat was fire. And Future's verse was cool. The second part of the song where the beat switches was also cool, and I enjoyed his rapping there a little bit more. And it highlights another issue with the album where sometimes it gets just pulled down by Drake's desire to sing. And it's like, because he decided to name the album Certified Lover Boy, it has to have some kind of R&B appeal to it, but it just doesn't work a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's a really low part of the album for me. I like the song, but I think it's a song that's skippable, to be honest. So I think Pipe Down is kind of where the album starts to pick up. I like Yebba's Heartbreak. I think it's a good little spotlight for an artist that probably deserves it. I think No Friends in the Industry really goes. Like, I think that song is hard. Like, I really that's one of my like favorite types of Drake, because there's like multiple. There's Island Drake, there's sad Drake, rappy rap Drake. I think that's one of my favorite Drakes. Knife Talk, I think, is great. I love incorporating Project Pat in there. The sample is awesome. The features are great. I love how him and 21 go back and forth. 7 a.m. on Bridal Path, I think that's Drake at his best lyrically. I love the fact that he's going directly at Kanye on this and on No Friends in the Industry. I think it's a good look for Drake. But yeah, I think the album is really strong during this section. I already talked about 7 a.m. on Bridal Path. Race My Mind, I thought, was a cool Rick James sample. I think he works really well with that kind of atmospheric production. Fountains is good. I love Island Drake is always is always a good look, I think. Cultural appropriation be damned.
Yeah.
Get Along Better is one of my favorite songs on the album. I think it's a really good R&B track. I like the chemistry between him and Ty Dolla Sign. I think it's just a really, I think that's a good example of Drake singing. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what this song is honestly what I was expecting from Certified Lover Boy before the singles came out. I thought the whole album was gonna be like R&B Drake, so I was actually looking forward to it because I do actually really like R&B Drake. And then he flips it with You Only Live Twice, and that's probably my favorite song on the album. Really great bars from Wayne, a smooth flow from Rick Ross. The beat is amazing, and I think like the Kanye album, I think this honestly could have been like the end for me, and I would have been fine. I would have been fine with it because I don't like the Cudi song. I don't like effing fans, and I think that Remorse is cool. I think actually it could have just ended with Remorse. I could have done without the Cudi track and the effing fans track. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think similar to you, this stretch of the album is probably my favorite stretch in terms of just has the most content that I feel like is actually passable, if not really good. And so yeah, Yeba's Heartbreak, beautiful piano, beautiful vocal performance by Yeba, and No Friends in the Industry. I loved how this is what I was talking about in terms of his energy. If he brought this type of energy to Champagne Poetry, I could have enjoyed that song more, but he didn't. And so No Friends in the Industry, I really enjoyed him. He really went hard. And it almost sounds like he's saying yeah and not yeah, or yay, not yeah. And I love that kind of like play on the words
Play
there.
on words,
Knife
yeah.
Talk, I thought went so hard. When I heard Project Pat's verse, I'm like, bro, let's go. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
should have had more. I think you could have used a little bit less at 21 and Drake on the end and probably used more Project Pat. But yeah, it was a dope song.
oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and I love their back and forth. Real gritty, perfect beat for that 21 Savage style. 7 a.m. Umbrella Path. He's like you said at his best with his lyrical miracle wordplay and just going off. He actually had the better of the two Giannis Antetokounmpo references between Kanye and himself. Where
The
he
bar is
said,
really low on that one though.
yeah, I mean, but at least he didn't try to make it like the staple of the song. Keep it at least a buck. Keep it at least could at least keep it a buck like Antetokounmpo. And it was smooth because he like referenced it in with some other stuff. I'm like, okay, it's better.
It's fine, I guess. Someone like they knew it was coming. Everyone knew a Giannis bar was coming, but between him and Kanye, like Giannis deserves better, man.
Yeah. And yeah, he had some, it's Drake at his reflective moment, reflecting on his past and kind of giving you this. He does this all the time on all of his albums, to be honest. Just a multi-bar song that's 5 minutes long, 4 minutes long, and he's just remarking on a bunch of different stuff. And I wasn't feeling Race My Mind. When he said, then you fall asleep, I hope you could sleep. I didn't really understand what he was doing in that part of the song because it was kind of R&B and singy, but you reference like Biggie in the middle of that, and it just threw me off. It threw me for a loop. And then the beat switches was cool, and him dropping Aisha Curry's name was cool, and the reference there. The second Biggie sample was cool too, and overall I like the creative direction of the song. Fountains, I enjoy Afro beats, but it was a watered down version of Afro beats that was kind of bogged down by Drake's presence, to be honest. Thames is a really cool artist, and she did her thing on the song. But this was to me a one dance replica of him just trying to find another Nigerian artist that he thinks could help him chart in West Africa, which is it's in all likelihood it will chart in West Africa, but
yeah,
it wasn't the best representation or the best artistic direction. It wasn't a great Afrobeat song. It's just a passable one. Yeah. They did something solid in the studio, and it's okay. It's a lot of okay moments for me. Get Along Better, I agree. It's a kind of a subpar R&B song overall in my eyes. And then to me, you get it was okay. Like the beat is good, and the vocal performance, it's just I'm not always convinced that Drake is the best vocal performer. Sometimes I'm starting to get a little tired of it, to be honest. When it comes to him singing, because it sounds the same a lot of the time. He doesn't have a strong range, but that's something that we can get into after. You Only Live Twice, yes, I think probably my favorite song on the album. Ross's verse, great. Drake did his thing, had some nice, quotable lines, and Wayne just comes and destroys the whole song and puts the album in a blender with that verse. It was just like, my God, bro, what are you on right now? This run of features of Wayne has been phenomenal this year, and so I actually enjoyed IMY2. I enjoyed Cudi singing, and I thought that they had a nice little, amount of chemistry, and it was cool to see them back on the song together. And the song actually gave me Kanye West vibes in terms of the production and the style and the moodiness of it. You can definitely see that Cudi had some influence on the beat selection, and it was cool. Effing fans, I'm like, bro, you could have really just cut this out. It's just, again, Drake and his cringiest of cringe. And The Remorse was another song similar to 7 a.m. on Bridle Path, where he's just going bar, just talking, ranting, have some nice quotable lines about his personal struggles and plethora of successes and failed relationships, etc. But it's more wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You want to go ahead and give me your favorite tracks? Let's go 5, since it's so long.
I really don't want to go 5. I only, but okay. No, actually, I got 5. There's 5 songs on here that I definitely like. Way Too Sexy. You got to give me that. Yeba's Heartbreak. Knife Talk. Let's Go. You Only Live Twice. And I Am Y2.
Okay. All right. Give me No Friends in the Industry, Knife Talk, Get Along Better, You Only Live Twice, and Race My Mind. Actually, no, sub out Race My Mind for 7 a.m. on Bridle Path.
Okay.
And that's my faves. We are
normally
introducing.
I have a lot more. I'm sorry, bro. Normally I have a lot more respect for your top choices, but I can't co-sign it this time.
You know what? I'm not taking any flack from the guy who likes Way Too Sexy and Demeanor. I'm not accepting that from you. But we have a new rating system for the Put You On Game podcast, since this is primarily based around recommendations. So if you are speaking to someone who hadn't ever heard of Drake, which doesn't exist in 2021, but if you had to tell them about the album, would you give it a rating of, or a recommendation of, must listen, highly recommend? Would you tell them to give it a shot, they're not missing much, or a hard pass?
I know that this album is getting mixed reviews a lot, and I try not to allow critics to influence what I think as much. So I try not to hear too many critiques. So based on that, I would say give it a shot.
Yeah. I was stuck between 2. I almost said you're not missing much, but I think that if you are a fan of Drake, I think that you're getting what you want, because I don't think he's giving you anything necessarily different from what he's given you in the past. But if you've never heard of Drake, there's a lot of songs on here that are really catchy or good pop sensibility. So, I mean, if you like popular music in any form, then yeah, I would say give it a shot. If you're a real hip hop head, then this is probably not for you. But yeah, I would say if you're just open to different kinds of music, yeah, just give it a shot. That's the best I can do for it, though, because it's a really uneven project. But yeah, that'll do it for our review of Certified Lover Boy. Tell us what you think in the comments. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you think about the album.